This is what I'm seeing. China's screwed. Okay, supply chains are coming back home. Globalism is going to suffer a mortal wound from this. They thought this would, control and keep the globalists in power. It's going to have the opposite effect. We're going to tribalism. We're going to go local, and that's all good things. And mass immigration is dead. Illegal immigration is dead. Climate change is dead. If people want climate change, this is what climate change looks like, folks. You can't do anything.
Hey friends, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you all back. We've got a lot of good news today, and I know that's what a lot of you want to hear, just the good news. The Dow's up 2,112 points on this Tuesday, March 24th. That's an 11% rally on the back of the Fed printing our currency into oblivion. Is that good news, Bob?
Well, saying it that way is probably not good news, but there's actually a dilution that has to happen in fiat because of all the debt that's being defaulted. So it's probably a net neutral in terms of the, in terms of causing like massive hyperinflation. That's not going to happen in the short term.
Now, one of the things I just mentioned there is quantifiable. The Fed is destroying our money, our currency, and evidence of that is the gold market is breaking down. Gold spreads explode as Lbma warns of liquidity problems. Bob, we've been talking about this event happening for years now, and now it truly is actually happening. We know the Lbma has hypothecated and rehypothecated physical gold to the extent that everybody's just got a paper promise. And when people stand for delivery, that's when the system, the gold system, as we know it, finally collapses. What is the gold price telling us over the past couple of days?
Yeah, what physical gold is telling us that is that it's almost impossible to get your hands on it. The paper gold market is showing the stress as well. And in fact, ABN AMRO just basically told all their clients that in this gold fund they have that basically we're shutting it down and we're going to sell your position if you don't sell it yourself. So there's a mad scramble by the crooked bullion banks to come up with physical. Look, our price target is, you and I talked about this for years, Sean. I said we're going to hit an all-time high in gold this year. We're going to hit it. But now I'm moving my target up to 2,450, 2,500 is now going to be in play because you don't stick $4 trillion of what I call base money or hot money into the economy and not have it affect precious metals. Silver will get a bump, platinum, palladium, rhodium, all of them are up over 6% today. And this is just the beginning. They're not going to be able to put this genie back in the bottle.
Now, you sent me some charts. We can talk about those in a second, but you guys like to make money no matter what the stock markets are doing. Now, I've noticed that even cryptos are up again. So everything's catching a bid right now. Do you want to just take us through a couple of these charts?
Yeah, because I can't see them. You're going to have to tell me which ones they are. But I can just talk in general about those, is that the gold and silver miners, last week we had basically the ambush. Look, these guys knew this is coming. The virus is just an excuse. It was a happenstance, or it was probably created. Here, I'll throw my glasses on so I can see. So I feel smarter now. So yeah, so that they knew this was going to happen. So they did a raid on the miners. They basically sold out all the ETFs, Sean, and it forced all these miners to get crunched. And they did the same thing with cryptocurrencies, you saw as well. And so you now have a situation where all that selling has abated and the prices are moving up higher and higher rapidly. And, in terms of our system is that we're just looking for the buying pressure to come in. And that's what happened this week. We started seeing it on Friday, and we knew at some point they're going to have to bring America back to work. And we knew they were going to shove all this money in the system because the bankers don't want to go away or become irrelevant. And then you just see this here. I mean, this chart here is CDE. I mean, this is a 17% move in one day. We bought this last weekend and we bought it again. And it's just going to keep paying people. And the other one we have here, I think, what the other charts I have here? I have is PLG. This is the platinum chart. Look at this, is just today. And from Monday to Tuesday, 30% move. we've been trading in and out of PLG for the last year and a half. And this thing, if you're a trader, you love this one. So you just keep catching the moves here. And our system, you can see down at the bottom here, that goes from red to green. Those are telling us buying pressure, selling pressure, and we just keep putting the trades on them. And then what's next here is we did CDE. Here's Wheaton. If you like to trade the miners, but you don't really want to have mining risk, and also if you're a little bit more conservative, Wheaton Precious Metals is the way to go. This is my fave, and I love trading this one. And again, this is rinse and repeat. A 10% move in Wheaton is a big day for Wheaton. And when we came out of the '08 downfall, Sean, this thing went up 400%. That's why when I've been talking to you guys last year, I said when this thing moves, you're going to see moves from 200 to 800% on these miners. And they started. USAU is a lotto that we've had our subscribers look into for last year. Went up 95% today. These are the kind of moves you're going to get, and this isn't penny stock action. This is what's called a recognition event. They've been trying to suppress, and now the dam just exploded. And now we're in inning 4 of this move, and this is going to be the big inning here. Now for the next couple weeks and months, this is when you're going to see big moves like we had in 2011.
I just think it can't be overstated how important this Lbma event is. We've been talking about this forever, and everybody asked the question. All of us have been asking the question. Mike Maloney, Peter Schiff, everybody's been asking the question, at what point does the Lbma break under the buying pressure and the demand for physical? And we're finally seeing that. Now, a lot of people listening to this are probably pretty happy that the Dow's up 11% today. I am too. That's great. But it's being done on the back of trillions of dollars of promises, Bob. And I want to just drive that point home. I think sometimes people think that there is no moral hazard to this printing and there is no negative repercussion, but there is. At some point, the chickens come home to roost. And I think eventually it's going to be with a very negative event in our purchasing power.
Oh, without a doubt. And that's why, look, you and I can't go in there and deactivate these crooks. All we can really do is protect ourselves. And that's why actually I started Trade Genius. I was more worried about food inflation, which is the next shoe to drop. We're going to be positive today, so I don't want to start talking about that, but that's going to be the next shoe to drop. And then with the gold, I'm a silver bug, so I've been trading silver for a long time. And so I said, look, I can't stop these people. All I can do is really protect myself and my family and profit from it the best I can. And we're now going to get vindicated. So all you can do is get yourself prepared so that you can protect your own assets in this devaluation bubble that's coming. Look, you saw the stock market went down almost 40% here because what they did was they suppressed volatility for years. Okay, it's the same thing as the Lbma suppressing gold prices. So once it breaks and they have to unwind these positions. Platinum broke first and palladium, they doubled, Sean. So there's no reason why gold and silver aren't going to see the same fate. And when they have to start covering, they actually have to find the physical to cover their bets. And it's just not going to be found. And you're going to see prices just skyrocket for them to try to scrounge up physical around. And then I expect that eventually they're going to do a force majeure and settle in fiat. And then you're going to see price of gold really fly. But look, what's going to happen to those people that hold GLD and SLV, they may get screwed. So that's why I focus on the miners. If I can't physically own it, I want to own the people that are digging it out of the ground. And that's why I've always been a miner fan versus just a metals fan. Plus, I don't want to carry the leverage of trading futures.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about this trillion-dollar stimulus package, multi-trillion-dollar stimulus package. We've got a new Q today I want to share with folks, but this tweet from Joe M., our friend over there on Twitter, @Storm is upon us. That's our buddy Joe M. Latest Q confirms we were right. COVID-19 is another 9/11 terrorist attack perpetrated by a globalist shadow enemy who pulls the strings of the Democrat Congress. It was unleashed on the whole world specifically at this time to sabotage Trump in the run-up to the election. Fact. He goes goes on, and he links to his previous tweet, Dem Party Con, pretend coronavirus is a natural event when they got to impose insecure mail vote, erase Trump economic gains, delay China trade deals, hide Biden's dementia. Yeah, where's Biden? He's been in hiding. Stop the rallies. Those are the Trump rallies. Get FISA-gate out of the news. In an election year, get ready to rumble. You know, I agree with that sentiment. I've been saying that this thing was a bioweapon. We were winning globally. Brexit, Trump 2016, Trump 2020. We were winning, taking our nation back for sovereignty, liberty, and the rule of law. So they released a bioweapon. That's how I see it. But anyway, let's talk about these Democrats and what they're stacking. Pelosi is stacking into this damn bill.
Yeah, she's already backing off. Look, we can be thankful because we have idiots on that side running it. You know, she's damaged good. She's on the same dementia train as Joe is, and they're just not effective communicators. And so they're really struggling with trying to get this message out. Look, Trump just said, "I'm not going to sign it," and I think Pelosi's already backing off of this stuff. But I totally agree with you. I said, you know, what was the only thing they could do to stop this train was to create something so horrible. I made a joke. I said an asteroid was coming, but this was a smaller kind of virus. I said, look, this pandemic is not really a pandemic. I mean, if the Chinese didn't name this thing or this thing didn't get named, we would call this a strong flu season. You know, in terms of the infection rates, the hospitalization rates, and the death rates, and they're really annoyed because they found out that hydroxychloroquine is an antiviral. You know, they didn't want to approve that. You noticed, Dr. Fauci was fighting tooth and nail, and it looks like there's just basically a generic low price drug that could put a halt to this stuff. So. Hopefully Trump will get the initiative here and, start pushing to open things back up again.
Yeah, I think you're talking about hydroxychloroquine, and we hope that that is a fix for this thing. We shall see. One thing is absolutely for certain, though. Once this thing is behind us, and it will be, we are going to see an economic boom in this country like we haven't seen in decades because people are sick of being holed up in their homes with nothing to do. You can't go to a bowling alley. You can't go to a movie theater. You can't go to a bar or a restaurant. You can't do much of anything right now in most places in this country. And so we do hold out hope that this thing will all be behind us soon. But as is evidenced here from Representative Andy Harris via Twitter, and of course this was linked in a new Q post, no voter ID to get a ballot and anonymous ballot harvesting. Why is this hidden in Speaker Pelosi's coronavirus bill? Again, the Democrats are traitors. They are treacherous and they are demonic. These people stand opposed to this nation and the rule of law, Bob, and people are damn fed up with it. I'll tell you one thing about Q. The storm really is coming. And when justice is served on these people, hopefully we will see trials, and some of these people belong in Gitmo.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely going to blow over, and I was joking that they're going to take advantage for spring. Spring will knock this virus down, and we'll move on. And look, there's a lot of good. I can't tell you. I poll everybody I see and ask them, do they think we're over or under reacting to this thing? And people every day are getting more agitated and angry that they're locked down on this thing, especially when they see that the number of deaths is like a bad weekend in Chicago. Not to minimize the deaths, but, they're not talking about all the people dying of influenza or tuberculosis, but these people are dying from this disease, all of a sudden have special meaning. And look, it's the social media behind it. This is a full on-court press. But I'm looking beyond that. This is what I'm seeing. China's screwed, okay? Supply chains are coming back home. Globalism is going to suffer a mortal wound from this. They thought this would, control and keep the globalists in power. It's going to have the opposite effect. We're going to tribalism. We're going to go local, and that's all good things. And mass immigration is dead. Illegal immigration is dead. Climate change is dead. If people want climate change, this is what climate change looks like, folks. You can't do anything. Okay, economics is going to take you back to the Stone Age. So that's dead. So I see all these good things happening, and for me, Trump has a force of will to keep driving this. So I'm I'm confident. So that's why I see past it. I believe you on the boom. There's going to be pent up demand, but there's also going to be a lot of investments that are going to be made, in terms of people being redirected out of the what I would call the Starbucks economy back into normal, jobs at factories and manufacturing plants and things of that nature. So I'm pumped.
All righty. So we'll go back to Q because I think this is really important. Let me do a screen share here. The key that opens all doors, the start. And it's a link to this article over at the Daily Caller. Spygate would make Watergate look like a third-rate burglary. You know that's true. I know it's true. And it's about time the American people get reminded of the biggest crime, the biggest act of treason in our lifetimes, Bob. The Spygate scandal is shaping up to be the most significant political abuse of government power in history, and it may be even larger than people expect. The investigation by U.S. Attorney John Durham into the origins of the FBI's Russian collusion investigation, or as President Trump prefers to call it, the witch hunt, continues to expand. Durham reportedly opened criminal investigations last fall, and unlike the narrow Justice Department Inspector General's review of the abuse of the FISA process, Durham is looking into the questionable activities of other government agencies, in particular the CIA and its former director, John Brennan. Bob, I get the sneaky suspicion that CNN is going to stay pretty far away from this story.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But Bill Barr said yesterday that their attorneys and investigators are still working at full steam. And what I like now is that they basically shut the border down. They're going to knock the drug trade down, and now they can focus on some of this activity. There's no international travel, so people can't jump ship here when they decide to start putting the warrants out for people's arrest. They're not going to be able to get out of the country quite so easily. They're not going to be able to pull a Polanski, if you will. And so they're stuck here. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm tired. I'm ready for the cleansing.
As we round out the conversation, and we can keep going if there's anything else on your radar, I always enjoy our conversations, but as we sort of round this thing out, I just want to impress on people again the importance of what we're seeing here with the Fed. Everybody wants good news. Nobody wants fear-mongering. Nobody wants fear. I get it. We're all sick of the fear. But can you just help put in perspective this helicopter money? Help us understand, is this a positive or is it a negative? Is it fear-mongering to warn the people about what could be coming given the Fed's behavior right now? Helicopter money. This is the true geopolitical game changer. This comes from Strategic Culture Foundation. And it talks about this helicopter money, writing checks to families. How does this thing end in your view, or does it just go on in perpetuity? I guess they can just print money, and there will be no downside.
Yeah, so let me give you a perspective here that you may not have really heard before, maybe heard but not really appreciate it. This actually started with the Fed. Remember how Trump was always banging on the Fed to get us even with the Europeans and the Asians in terms of the interest rates. So what the Fed has done here is they created a overly strong dollar relative to our trading partners. Our trading partners created a situation then by having us having an overly strong dollar because of the interest rate differential, and they used that then to create currency. Basically artificially pumped our stock market higher, which is causing the crash to be worse, and then also destabilized our bond market. At the same time, their economies were weakening because it was causing problems in their own nations. And what people don't realize, because we're the reserve currency, is that we have a lot of the debts are in dollars. And so all of a sudden now, when Powell dropped interest rates to zero, all those economies, they lost their carry trades. So that then caused a second implosion. But it's actually good news for us, because once you get to the zero bound, then if we double our debt, Sean, our interest carry costs don't double. In fact, the debt that we have that we're paying interest on today at higher interest rates starts getting absorbed at lower interest rates. So it buys us a runway. And so that's why I said in the beginning of our talk is that at some point it's going to matter a whole lot. But in the short term, it's actually going to give us some runway here in which to maneuver. And it basically balances out. What people don't understand about money is I call it base money and I call it credit money. So you have debts that are being liquidated, either through people paying off their loans or debts being defaulted. It has to be replaced with either new debt or cash. This time they opted for cash. So it's actually a balancing effect too. So you're going to have more cash in the system versus debt in the system. And I say cash because we're at zero interest rate for that debt. So it's not really causing any change to carry cost. So that gives us time. But eventually what's going to happen is that our standard of living is going to fall over time unless we get the velocity up, we get that economic boom that you talked about, and we start reabsorbing that. You know, I joked that I said they probably are going to try to do this till all the baby boomers start rolling off the earth so they don't have as much, the pensions and all that other stuff to worry about. But, this could take 20 or 30 years to fix, or it gets fixed all in one fell swoop by tripling or quadrupling or 10x the price of gold and pay the debt off that way. And I think that's the option they're going to probably take eventually, Sean. They're just going to reprice gold like Roosevelt did, back in the 30s, and go back on some sort of collateral standard, if not gold standard itself, and basically just wipe the debt off the books. So that's my view on it. So I'm a little bit more positive than most, but the good news for me is it doesn't matter. Gold and silver, precious metals are going higher. I always said, and I say this on your call too, there's always a bull market somewhere. You can't control what you can't control. So control what you can control. And now that we're going from a stock market to a market of stocks, there's just tremendous opportunities here for you to protect and also to prosper. During these dislocations, there's a lot of people who do extremely well because they know where the hockey puck's going and they don't lament where we were. And I'd rather be the former than the latter.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Hey, another piece of good news here. Trump's approval rating jumps to 49%, 3-year high. 60% approve of the Wu-flu response. I agree with that. I think he's showing real leadership in a time of crisis, and that's all we can ask for out of our president is to try to show real leadership. And you know what? One thing I do like about him, I hate the Fed. I hate the system, the way it's set up, and the Fed controlling our money, not beholden to anybody, any president, as Alan Greenspan once famously pointed out. This president does not take guff from the Fed, though. And,
yeah, look, he's bold and he cares. And everybody, look, normal people appreciate that. Does he say dumb things or does he do it in a dumb way sometimes? Yeah, but so do we all. But all I care about is my president has my back. And he cares about what I do, and he's not afraid. And to me, that's a mark of a great president. And he wants us to prosper. And then other than that, he gets out of our way.
And here's another bit of good news. We're going to be fine. Nobel-winning biophysicist predicts quicker COVID-19 recovery. I do think that this is overblown to a large extent, and we are going to see a heck of a rebound very shortly. And the good news is, for those listening, if you want to trade with Bob over at Trade Genius, these guys don't care what the markets are doing. The market can go down 1,000 points or up 2,000 points. And people using Trade Genius are usually positioned to do well either way. So, Bob, do you want to tell people how they can trade with you guys?
Yeah, so you can go to tradelikeagenius.com or tradegeniusacademy.com. Go to the same place. You can text us, you can chat with us, you can call us, and we put together a number of specials, whether you're a beginner trader or more experienced. Whether you want to trade cryptocurrencies or if you want to trade the stock market, the cryptos are getting a nice bid now too. And we'll show you, we'll teach you how to trade. We'll give you the tools to trade more effectively. And we'll even actually throw some trades your way so that you can see how we do it and you can prosper from the trades that we're actually getting ourselves involved in ourselves. So, and then we have a whole bunch of training tools. We have chat rooms that are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All good people. And, we look forward to trading with you. And how we price things, we discounted those bundles 65% off our normal pricing. And then we threw in a Trade Genius stimulus package and knocked another $100 off of that if you take advantage of it before Saturday, the 28th. And if you just want to look in the store and buy anything individually, you can do March Madness and get 45% off. The trades that I showed Sean, if you'd have just bought 1,000 shares of any one of those, you would have paid for 2 or 3 years worth of our service. So we definitely think we give you a really good return on your investment that you make in working with us. So thanks for letting me pitch that, Sean.
Yeah, well, thanks for your time. Is there a code or anything, a coupon code for that, or I'll just leave the link below?
Yeah, just March Madness if you want to buy anything individually. Other than that, the discounts are the bundles are already pre-discounted. You just select it and we'll take off all the discounts for you.
Okay. All right, Bob. Well, I appreciate your time, and I enjoyed our conversation today. I think it's important for us all to be pragmatic about what we face, and it's not all pure hopium 24 hours a day, but there is some good news on the horizon, and at the forefront of that good news is hopefully the arrests of some of these deep state criminals here in the very, very near future. So we'll keep our eye on all of it. Our guest has been Bob Kudla from Trade Genius. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We very much appreciate it. And for real news 24/7, you guys can visit us directly at sgtreport.com, the antidote to corporate propaganda. God bless. Bye-bye.
I object to all these bailouts. It's no longer a capitalistic system or a market economy. It's kind of a crony system where an aristocracy or plutocracy has huge privileges that the man on the street does not enjoy.